Hi, I'm Mo, and I'm very serious right now, and I've decided not to make a joke.
And I'm TJ, and I wrote this review by Firefly Light.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to It's Soon to Us, Damn It. I'm Mo, he's TJ, as he just said, and we are here to watch every movie ever made to be respected enough to be invited to parties.
And occasionally that means watching something that makes you sad.
Yes, very sad.
But parties make us happy.
Yes,
so
parties definitely make us
feel free
happy.
to cheer us up by inviting us. We have a couple holidays coming up here.
Thanksgiving parties, I don't think those are a thing, but we can make them.
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving,
right?
yeah, definitely.
We can have Friendsgiving.
Holiday parties, it'd be fun.
I'll show up with the turkey hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll bring drumsticks, wishbones.
Sounds good.
I'll bring a bunch of wishbones.
Just too many wishbones.
Too many wishbones.
Too many wishbones to ever be practiced.
Yes, exactly. It'd be like, why'd you bring so many wishbones? Because I thought that's what you do.
In fact, it will get to the point where the people winning the wishbone breaking game will wish for fewer wishbones.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What a conundrum.
Well, how are you, TJ?
I'm pretty good, Mo. I'm pretty good. I can't complain. It's getting dark at 5:09 p.m. these days. That's tough, but otherwise, not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Darkness is my friend, as you know. So, yeah, I'm really liking it.
Good.
That's great,
Good.
yeah. So, it is now time for banter time.
Banter time.
Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Banter time. Okay. So, TJ, what's been going on with you?
Oh, not too much. I'm on winter break for school, so I've had free time, and I spent a lot of that rewatching several of the Friday the 13th movies for no good reason.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It was so... I mean, it always is. I have such a love-hate relationship with those movies. I don't know what compelled me to watch, I watched 4, 5, and 6 for no reason. I just did it because they were on Max or whatever.
Yeah.
Not like I don't have the Blu-rays. I guess maybe the little Halloween hangover. I'm finally, though, on the last season of Cheers.
Oh, cool.
And now I think I said in a previous episode, I've been watching the show for a while now. I think I said that I liked Frasier better than Cheers. Mm-hmm. And while I still agree with that, Cheers has, I think, just kept getting better. I think that even entering its final season, I think it's just evolved and become... I can see why it has the legacy it has. It's an outstanding show.
That's cool.
And I like the Rebecca Howe years better than the Diane Chambers.
Yeah, I feel like Rebecca Howe is more zanier.
She's way more zany, and I love that they did that with her.
Yeah.
Just because she has such character development, and it's funny watching, every trope that you associate with a character that's, downtrodden like her, they do the opposite. And they always make her out to be more pathetic. It's so mean, but it's so funny.
Yeah, that's great.
Somehow Kirstie Alley played it perfectly or whatever, but it's very well done.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be sad when the show ends.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the new Frasier? Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I've been watching it. I watch each one as they air. To be honest with you, I don't think it's great, but it's new Frasier, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I was bummed that it was another change of scenery. But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, Cheers Frasier is radically different from Frasier.
Yeah.
So a move back to Boston and new characters, whatever.
You think they should have gone to Denver?
That wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah. Hi,
that wouldn't have been
Frasier.
bad. That would have been funny.
Yeah,
Actually, see, now that would have been funny.
Frasier high all the time.
That would have been funny. They had to get him to Harvard, I guess, because now he's have you been watching it?
Yeah, he's working for Harvard.
Yeah, he's working for
I do
Harvard.
like the side characters. His son's okay.
Yeah.
I liked his colleagues. They're really fun.
Yes, his colleagues are the best.
The waitress is okay. I don't know about the nephew, though.
They've underused him, and he's just a Niles clone. You didn't need him.
Yeah.
He's just a Niles clone.
That's true.
We all love Niles, but leave him in Seattle. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to see Lilith show up, though.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's BB Newirth up to?
Nothing much, I bet.
Yeah, bring her back.
Bring her back.
And I know we talked about it too, but yeah, Frasier, the show Frasier, the original run, did not do Lilith justice. She is one of my favorite Cheers characters, honestly.
Yeah.
She's very good in that.
She's brilliant.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Other than that, I know that I watched other stuff, and for some reason I'm just not able to recall at this time. But,
okay.
Yeah, how about you?
Well, TV-wise, it's been tough. I don't know, this past few weeks I don't know what to watch, I watched reruns of, one show, Wings, been watching Frasier, been watching Cheers sometimes, but there's one show on Hulu that just came out. It's not new, it's an old show, starring Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, sorry. Mm-hmm. It's called Moonlighting.
Yes, I've heard about that show.
Yes.
I've heard
Okay,
it's a good
so
show.
for so long, this movie has never been on streaming because of like song rights and stuff like that. But I don't know what happened. Hulu decided it's like, okay, we'll fork out the money, and yeah, Moonlighting's now on Hulu, all of it.
Cool.
So yeah, so you can watch it on YouTube. They may have taken it down because of it, but you know, yeah, it's really fun. It's a really fun show. They really break the fourth wall a lot. You know, Bruce Willis is his same charming self. Sybil Shepherd's a very sophisticated lady who has to deal with Bruce Willis's charm and buffoonery.
What's like the
Pop plot?
yeah.
Okay, so Sybil Shepherd was a former model. She made a lot of money, but unfortunately she lost it all because of a crooked accountant. So the only thing she has left is the Blue Moon Detective Agency, run by Bruce Willis.
Okay.
So now they have to run the company together. So
Okay.
they're both detectives now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's really great. They did one episode called Atomic Shakespeare, where it's all the Tame of the Shrew. So that was really fun. Okay, there's this one great clip. They were nominated for 16 Emmys in like 1988.
Damn.
There's this like one clip where it shows like Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd in character being like, the night before the Emmys. I was like, no way, we're not gonna win. It's impossible. We're nominated 16 times. It's impossible. And then his mom calls like, oh, Mom, you called? Oh, yeah. What about your health? Oh, it'd make you happy if I won? Oh, man, that's so great. And then the next night, famously, they didn't win any Emmys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. There's another one where they're in character again, and Bruce Willis is like, I'm going to make a tape because I'm so famous. Like, what do you mean a tape? I'm going to make a funk tape. And so then he brings out the Temptations, and the Temptations are there for a second, and then he makes them disappear. Really badly, by the way, by CGI effects.
Oh my god.
And all of a sudden, Sybil Shepherd was like, okay, what does that mean? Is this the Temptations? What's so great about that? And all of a sudden, she started acting like the Temptations.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, so Moonlighting is a great show. I haven't seen all of it, mostly because at the very end, that's when Bruce Willis did Die Hard. So that pretty soon, like, I don't know, like Bruce Willis didn't want to do TV anymore because he was a famous movie star. Yeah. I think Sybil Shepherd got pregnant with twins, so she had some complications there.
Yeah.
So I think they just ended the show.
So it was like a hasty ending.
Yeah, hasty ending. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Plus, I think the ratings were going down.
I've always heard about that show. My dad used to speak pretty highly of it. So it was a good show. I always and now that you've jogged my memory, he did mention it was like a detective thing.
Yeah.
And that's it's fun to because I haven't seen as many Bruce Willis movies as I probably should have, but I always think of him from Die Hard and 12 Monkeys first and foremost. So to see him with the comedic chops up front that'd be a fun watch.
Yeah, definitely.
I also want to watch, speaking of shows where like the person became a huge star shortly after, my dad's currently watching it, is Remington Steele.
Oh yeah, the
I've always wanted to watch
Bronson
that
show, yeah.
Yes, and I always loved
he did that instead of Bond, right? He couldn't do that. He couldn't do Bond because of that show.
He was tied up legally, so they had to go with Timothy Dalton. It worked out. It all worked out, obviously, but I always liked the concept of that where like he's not actually the spy, but he's just the guy playing the spy, and then the female lead character is the one that actually does all the heavy lifting.
Oh.
He's just like the figurehead because no one takes her seriously,
Oh,
I guess.
yeah.
Because, misogyny or whatever.
Isn't like Everybody Loved Raymond's mom in that?
Possibly?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good. Oh, I am going to start Cowboy Bebop soon.
That is great.
Yes, I've never watched that.
Do not watch the live action. Don't do it.
I'm good on that. You told me that animes, when they, like, it's almost considered a positive thing in Japan when they go to live action.
I don't know if it's a positive thing. I think it's like here, it's kind of like a cash grab.
Well, I thought it was like an esteem thing. Like, hey, your anime was so good and so successful that I thought they looked at it with esteem. But regardless, I have no interest in watching live action adaptations of animes. Really, by and large, I don't. I've heard One Piece is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've never seen One Piece, the anime, or read the manga, but I have heard that live action one's good. But with Cowboy Bebop, I have no interest. Just I want to watch the show. I've heard it's legendary.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch it for years. My buddy let me borrow the DVD set, so I'm going to watch those over, the winter.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also watched The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Terrific.
That is fun.
Was that fun?
Yeah, Sam Raimi's wrestling film.
Yeah.
So many stars in that. You had Keith David. You had Gene Hackman. You had Sharon Stone, who caused a lot of trouble on set. I heard from a professor that she wanted a giraffe on stage, and she got it. I I don't know why.
Huh.
But yeah, Sharon Stone, Leonardo DiCaprio, a lot of stars in this. Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Lance Henriksen's in it.
Nice.
It's very fun. It's a very fun western. Probably not the best western of all time, but the way he shoots camera angles is really fun.
That's his calling card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrific.
Yeah, definitely fun. Leonardo DiCaprio performed amazing in it as the kid. Sharon Stone did good. Gene Hackman is a bastard. He's like even. I would say, he's even more evil than in Unforgiven.
And he's fucking evil in Unforgiven.
Yeah,
man.
he's just like pure evil. It's just like wow.
Dude, Gene Hackman. Did we look it up last time? How old he is? He's like in his
80s. Oh yeah, Russell Crowe's also in the movie too.
Wow, what a cast!
Early Russell Crowe, right before he became like super famous. Yeah.
So was it a good movie? That's one of the.
It was a good movie.
I have
Yes,
not seen. Okay.
It was good. It was good. I wouldn't say like it would connect to you like emotionally wise, but it's definitely a fun movie.
Oh,
a lot of great characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all
really
you need
fun.
sometimes.
Definitely.
And here I am rewatching awful Friday the 13th movies I've seen a dozen times.
Yeah. I also tried to watch A Man Escapes. It gives away in the title what happens to the man. He escapes, but it's supposed to be fascinating of how he does it. It's a French film from the 1950s by a very famous French director who I forget his name, but I will learn his name next time I watch this film. But yeah, that's it, so.
I did also watch the first episode of The Curse.
Oh yeah, the Nathan Fielder show.
Oh, and it's not just Nathan Fielder this time, but it's Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie.
Yeah, and Emma Stone, right?
And Emma Stone.
Yeah.
But those two minds specifically. Nathan Fielder with the cringe and Benny Safdie with the just like anxiety-inducing. I don't even want to spoil anything about this show.
Yeah, Benny Safdie has been doing way more acting lately than directing with his brother. Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
If you can stomach awkward, anxious, anxiety-inducing stuff, I don't know. The best comparative for this first episode of this show that I can come up with is The Shining. It's not scary. It's just you feel unease the whole time.
Yeah, I understand that.
So if you want to, not be comfortable, go ahead and watch that.
All right, well.
But I will. I'm a Nathan Fielder slappy, so I had to watch that.
That's cool. All right, I guess that's it. So now I guess it's time for movie time. Movie time. Movie time. Movie time. Movie time. Movie time. Enough! Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
So for this movie, sorry, TJ, what did we watch this week?
We watched Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes, Grave of the Fireflies, released in 1988, directed by Isao Takahata, and also written by Isao Takahata. Sorry if I pronounced these names wrong. Starring Tsutomu Tatsumi, Ayano Shirahashi, Yoshiko Shinohara, and Akima Yamaguchi. By Japanese voice cast. And the 1988 original English voice cast was J. Robert Spence, Queen Orr, Veronica Taylor, Amy Jones, Shannon Conley, and Dan Green. And the 2012 version of the film, the English voice cast is Adam Gibbs, Emily Neves, Shelley Kayleen Black, Marcy Banner, Unknown, and David Waldie.
I'm a big fan of Unknown's work.
Who doesn't love Unknown's work, man?
Yeah,
that film is... Oh.
He did a great job as in the second runner-up only to Alan Smithy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what did you know about this movie going into this?
I knew it was sad. It's a very sad movie. Like, you're not going to feel happy watching it. Yeah. Well, of course, all war movies are kind of sad. You're not going to feel great, like, watching war movies.
Ideally, you're not. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Blank Check podcast. I've said this multiple times. So Griffin Newman does not like war films because it gives him anxiety. And I thought, like, wait, that never really happens to me every time I watch war films. And then the first war film I saw after I listened to the podcast, it gave me so much anxiety because it's just so bad. It's just, war is bad, folks. War is really bad. Mm-hmm. It's not happy. It does not make you feel good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the themes of this movie.
It's not great. So now every time I watch a war film, I just feel like, oh, this is awful. I mean, the movie's probably really great, but it's just like, nope, this is not fun.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, have you heard this movie before, TJ, before you selected it?
I had, yeah. Obviously, I'm getting into anime slowly but surely, but I've always known of Studio... Is it Ghibli?
Ghibli, yeah.
Ghibli. I've always known of Studio Ghibli, and all the movies I've seen from them, I've probably seen 5 or 6, but I've thought the world of them all. They've all been great.
They've all been great, yes.
I mean, really,
there are some that are just like, you know how we complain that Sense and Sensibility was just a painting? Mm-hmm. You know? It's kind of like that sometimes, too. Like The World of Henrietta, I believe, or The Henrietta, I forgot what it's called, it's kind of like a painting, you know,
Yeah.
just like events happened and it just moved on.
Well, hey, even
Yeah.
Disney had the computer wore tennis shoes, right?
Yeah,
Or
so yeah,
that lucky cat or what the hell ever.
Some people say
that's
My Neighbor
called.
Totoro. I must admit, a fantastic looking film.
It is a fan. Yes.
Have any story and plot really? No, not really.
No.
No,
but it is a fun watch for the visuals.
Yes,
that is one of
definitely,
the 6 I've seen, or 5, 6, whatever it's
Yeah.
been. But no, I think that what I admire about Studio Ghibli though is their range. I mean, this is 1988. They produced this.
Yeah, so this was before I think Kiki's Delivery Service, but I think before this was My Neighbor Totoro. In fact, they were working on this at the same time as My Neighbor Totoro.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, fascinating that in fact the people who were working on the film forgot which one they were working on.
Well, so again, I don't mean any offense to Studio Ghibli if this is unfair to say, but I've heard them compared to as the Japanese Walt Disney type of.
Kind of like that. Well, the real Japanese Walt Disney is the man who created Astro Boy. He's like the godfather of manga.
Fair, that's very
So yeah,
true,
he's actually considered the actual Walt Disney of manga and Japan. But yeah, like Hayao Miyazaki, Miyazaki, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I've heard that, yeah. Miyazaki, of course, is a legendary filmmaker in his own right in anime and in Japan. He's definitely maybe one of the top, can I say 10 filmmakers in the past, 40 years?
Nice.
He's up there with, people consider him with Scorsese, all the big wigs still going on today, yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's high praise.
That's high praise, and his movies are that good. The Boy and the Heron, his new film, came out recently.
Yeah, isn't that... Yeah, I think that's coming to America.
It's coming to America soon, yeah. It premiered in Toronto, I believe, yes.
Terrific.
Very little promotion for this. He decided to just do one trailer, and that's it. And maybe some photos.
I respect that. A lot of American movies, especially comic book movies, give away too much in trailers.
But this one, he's like, no. No, just a trailer. He said, it's his last film. I don't believe that for a second. But, I don't know, he's very old, so maybe he just wants to retire, or maybe he will unfortunately pass away before he can complete another one. Because it took his last film. He didn't do the. Okay, so there's this awful 3D animated film they made. It was terrible. I think his son directed that. But I think his last film was
Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the last film was The Wind Rises, which was about Japanese airplanes during World War II. Yes.
So they circled back to the World War II.
Yeah, he really goes back a lot. Yeah. Okay. So really, he likes that look, of old time Japan, but still. In the modern times, like 1940s and stuff like that. Yeah, he really likes that look. So it's actually really beautiful. It's a really beautiful film.
I was gonna say it's kind of a clash. It's kind of ironic in a way, but this film does show the Japanese countryside beautifully.
Yeah,
it does truly look.
Yeah, because they're not all still photos and stuff still pictures. I should say. So pictures. I should say yes.
Yeah.
Actually painted actual pictures painted, and then you see
portraits
that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
sure, yeah,
definitely.
No, and it's obviously it's used in this movie to juxtapose with the devastation of the bombed out areas of Japan, but no, I can see why he likes that aesthetic.
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely.
What I find interesting though, and the reason I brought up the 1988 or why I brought up Disney rather is, if these are commercially mainstream movies in Japan, it's just fascinating to me to look at this and say, at the same time that Japanese audiences were getting this, Western audiences were getting what, Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, Little Mermaid came out in 1989. So this was before the Disney Renaissance. I think the last Disney film before that was The Black Cauldron. I could be completely wrong about that.
Wow.
But somebody fact check on me on that. But yeah, so then 1989, Little Mermaid, 1992, The Beauty and the Beast. And then hits kept on, Aladdin. Hits kept on coming. Yeah, so yeah.
But no, I just thought that was interesting because I'm assuming this was mainstream.
Yes, it made 1.7 billion yen.
Okay.
Yeah, on its release. So that's probably I don't know, maybe 10 million in U.S. money, but 1.7 billion yen.
Yeah.
Really impressive, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And when it was re-released in America in 2012, it only made $516,962. Of course, that's a very limited release, my guess.
Sure.
Probably one day.
Yeah, you're right.
Something like that. Yeah, so, but of course, back then, we didn't get any anime back in 1988. Roger Ebert watched this movie. I'm not sure if he watched it back in 1988 or when the DVD came out in like the 2000s or something. So I do have his review, but he does not say that. Yeah, so I don't know. So this is just the beginning of like anime coming to America. Dragon Ball still hasn't hit America yet since 1997, but Akira was huge in the underground scene. Like video store clerks would just was come to you, like, hey, you gotta check out this awesome movie from Japan. It's called Akira, and they'll show you that. And that kind of started the movement a little bit.
Did they wear black trench coats?
Yeah,
and have
definitely.
it in the pocket, and they say, "Hey, kid."
Imagine Quentin Tarantino. That's it. Yeah. He'd be like, "Hey, kid, look at this movie. It's from Japan."
I feel like every late '80s, early '90s video store clerk probably looked a little bit like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, definitely. Each one thought they can be Quentin Tarantino.
That's more accurate.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so they did that. They also got a lot of very violent movies that came over, like Vampire Hunter D, Ninja Scroll, like some of the most violent movies you've ever seen. Yeah, and then of course Dragon Ball came in 1997, and then the anime boom. That's when it started, because Dragon Ball was introduced where you watched, and then Naruto came, and then One Piece, and then Bleach, and that started the big three, and now it's been escalating to the mainstream, which is now, because now mainstream cartoons are very influenced by anime, because the people who watched it grew up and made cartoons, and also, of course, the live action's going on right now. We got live action One Piece, which is really good. Was it better than the anime? Who's to say? Of course, the anime has its own problems, so we won't get into, because that involves like a whole conversation about how the anime industry makes episodes and all that stuff, and how they like use recaps for the majority of them. But we won't get into that, because that would be things I don't really know about and only know a little bit about. But yeah. So we're into now. So it's just like remakes are happening of very famous anime shows. You go to a FYE, Hot Topic, you find Naruto stuff, you find Bleach stuff, you find One Piece stuff, My Hero Academia. So it reached the mainstream status now in the US. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing as kids who grew up with that media get older.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
We're getting more worldly.
That's true, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're accepting Korean films now and Japanese films into the Academy Awards. And like Germany, I believe All Quiet on the Western Front was a German film that was nominated for Best Picture again, which people said it should not won the Best Foreign Film. A lot of people had problems with Quiet on the Western Front. I don't know what really, but I don't know.
Hey, we'll talk about it one day.
We'll talk about it one day.
Right?
The original and the remake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. So TJ, why'd you choose this film? Why'd you choose Grave of the Fireflies?
I chose it because all three of my movies this season, I went to Roger Ebert's list of 4-star reviews, which I thought was kind of like a Dave Meltzer 5-star. I thought it was an exclusive thing, but it's kind of not.
No.
There's actually a shitload of Roger Ebert movies, so I only covered like letters A through G.
Okay.
But I chose this one because, it caught my eye. I'd always heard about this movie. A friend of mine who's big into anime and Studio Ghibli said, I kind of talk with him every time I watch one of these movies. My buddy Carl,
Oh yeah, I know Carl.
And
biggest Seattle Kraken fan in the world, folks.
That's right.
If you see Carl, you say, "Oh, Carl, you love the Seattle Kraken?" He's like, "Yes, I love the Seattle Kraken."
And there's nothing you can do about it. That's what I'll say.
That's what I'll say. Yeah.
But he said, yeah, this one in particular is very sad.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. I had no idea what it was about. And then when I was exploring Roger Ebert's 4-star reviews and I came across this one, I said, you know what? We just got off the anime season. I'm adding another one. I'm going to run it back because I enjoyed all three of those movies. So I chose this one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I knew nothing about it really going in other than it was a World War II drama.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I had no idea who the characters would be or how big a scope it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised by a lot of it.
All right, cool.
What did you know?
I just knew it was a sad movie. That's it. It's like the saddest movie ever made.
Devastating.
I also know it's been highly praised. It's on number one on a lot of top animated movies lists and anime lists. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think the USA Today had it number one, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's a really sad movie. Studio Ghibli film, so it's going to look great. But yeah, that's mostly it. So, okay, so now we know why he chose this movie, the whole background and shit. TJ, what is the synopsis of this film?
Grave of the Fireflies tells the story of two World War II orphans, the adolescent Sita and his younger sister Setsuko, whose mother is killed during the American bombings of Kobe in 1945, and whose father is fighting the Allies as a member of the Japanese Navy. Initially, Sita keeps their mother's fate a secret from Setsuko, and the two subsequently begin staying with a distant aunt whose tolerance for them rapidly depletes. To escape her verbal abuse, Sita and Setsuko take up residence in an abandoned bomb shelter nearby, where they live off of the rice they earn by trading their mother's old clothing and goods. At nighttime, they illuminate the shelter with a jar full of fireflies they collected, and in the morning, Setsuko mourns the fireflies' death, and she reveals to Sita that she knows their mother is dead as well. This gives Sita the opportunity to drop his facade of stoicism, and the two bond further in their grief. Later, once the two run out of rice, Sita resorts to theft in order to keep the two fed. This, however, earns him the ire of the community, as stealing food during wartime is considered a serious offense. Luckily, the police officer handling his booking shows the siblings' sympathy, and he lets Sita go unpunished. Unfortunately, however, Setsuko is quickly succumbing to malnutrition, so Sita withdraws the remaining money from his mother's bank account to buy groceries. While at the bank, he overhears, to his disbelief, that the war has been over. Japan surrendered unconditionally, and the country's navy has been obliterated. Overwhelmed by the news that his father is likely gone, Sita returns to his sister, who is quickly dying. Despite his attempts to feed her, she is beyond salvation. Sita cremates Setsuko's remains and keeps some of his sister's ashes in a candy tin she'd been carrying throughout their ordeal. Now, with no home, no food, no money, and no one to live for, Sita resigns himself to a death by starvation in the middle of a crowded train station, and we revisit the film's opening. Nearby station workers remark that the dead homeless bodies must be removed prior to the Americans' arrival. This prompts janitors to deal with Sita's corpse, as well as the nondescript candy tin in his possession. From Sita's body rises a soul-like apparition in his image, who quickly reunites with that of his sister. Together once again, and no longer malnourished, Sita and Setsuko board a ghost train. Upon reaching their destination, the two, now surrounded by fireflies, overlook the metropolitan skyline of modern-day Kobe. In the end, no hilarity ensues.
That was actually really beautiful, TJ. I love that.
I should have gotten rid of that. I thought about not including the hilarity ensues, but it's tradition, damn it.
Yeah, it's tradition, damn it. Yeah.
What can you say? I mean...
This movie was a lot. I almost cried the first 5 minutes.
You know, at least they set you up properly. Like I mentioned, the end scene is revisiting the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. It's like
the
very first scene is like, I died August 12th, 1945.
Yeah, you know,
or a date like that, and it's just like Jesus, and yeah, it really just shows you like the homeless situation has not changed at all, whether different cultures or anything. It's just like people just toss them away and just don't think of them. Things are going on right now that's happening in like San Francisco and Seattle, huge homeless populations, high on fentanyl. You see them just like speaking on the streets, and it's sad.
People walk by and they're like, you're freaked out, and you know there's one guy that even walks by Sito and is like scared by him at first. And just, you know, these are actual human beings who had lives, who had loved ones, who had just things that made them unique in the world, and to see someone go anonymously, it's heartbreaking.
It is, yeah. I know, like, and it's like people try to help, like that one lady gave them food, but it just wasn't enough. Like, I've tried to help before too, and I've actually got chastised by a cop one time. I gave a guy some money. He was asking for some money, and he's like, you know, you give money to a drug addict, right? I was like, I didn't know that. Like,
no, that's not your fault.
I know. I don't know. We're trying to help. I don't know. Like, got man asked for money. He's homeless. He needs food, and I'm just like,
right.
Give him. But yeah, it really shows like it hasn't really changed at all, and this like, I don't know. Well, I think it also goes to like culture of Japan and in America too, of this like keeping face. You know, it's always keeping face. And Japan is about honor and pride, and is not a lot of pride in having a huge homeless population just rolling the train stations and them having dead bodies everywhere. Yeah, so you know, people just ignore them, and like they're just thrown into, I guess, giant graves of unknown origin. So
hence the name of the movie.
Yeah, the grave of the Fireflies. The I believe it was trying to think of the saying I was thinking. They burn bright and young, but then they.
Well, yeah, when because there are regular American bombings on the area.
Yeah, that's
they
true,
have to. They take the bodies of the dead and throw them in a mass grave. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
What else can you do? It's not practical to host a bunch of funerals for individual people that were killed in this mass attack. And I think that's kind of an overarching... We'll just dive right into it.
We'll dive right into it. I don't think we have to go frame by frame by it because it's just one story. Yeah.
People want to see the movie, they see the movie by all means. But I think that that's one of the major themes in this movie is the dehumanization of war and its fallout, and even homelessness to a degree. You know, in the train station at the end, the only person that we know is Sito. His story is the only one we know.
Yeah.
Sure, some of them could have been led unremarkable lives. Some of them could be drug addicts who could never escape their own demons. But we know for a fact that Sito has just a terribly heartbreaking story.
Yeah.
He could have possibly gone on, but put yourself in the shoes of a kid
You got no
who's
money.
lost both of his parents.
Yeah.
His sister. And it's worth noting the guy who wrote the story, and it's semi-autobiographical. He obviously lived.
Yeah.
But if for someone who's in their formative teenage or adult, the tweener years, you got no one else to live for. That's an option. It's just checking out to a degree. I don't know if he couldn't get the help, and
I guess they weren't really offering it because Japan had been destroyed by then. They
gave
up.
What I had assumed.
Yeah, so like they said, they're waiting for the Americans to show up.
And that's the part that was the final kick in the gonads. Is like I don't know my World War II post World War II history super well, but I do know that America helped rebuild Japan
and Germany, yes.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder if he had just lived a little longer, would he have gotten the help that he needed? Instead of hiding these bodies from the Americans, try and get them help immediately. You can't feed them some rice, get them some water, and then ask the Americans for help, or I don't know. And it's probably just a naive thought, but that's something that crossed my mind anyway.
Definitely. All right, so this whole movie deals with the firebomb. I thought it dealt with like the nuclear blast of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It actually deals with the firebombing of Japan. Mm-hmm. And it's just heartbreaking. You see these people, they're just like living very peaceful lives, and like we decided to just like fucking burn it all down, man. Mm-hmm. People keep on forgetting like we did this. Like we have a part to blame in this. We blew up a fucking atomic bomb in 2 places in Japan, and if you watch Oppenheimer, it's just because Kyoto was spared because the general was like, I really like the vacation there. So it's just if that's a true story, but
I do. It's a sticky situation, or it's a tricky situation, but I do tend to believe that the Japanese were not going to surrender. And what this movie does is it shows that...
It does show that. It does show a lot of Japanese, I believe you call it imperialism, or like pride, very Japanese pride. It's just like, because the main character is Seta, right? That's his name?
Sita. I watched the dub, and it sounded like when she was calling her, when... his sister was calling out to him. It sounded like Sita.
Okay, Sita, yeah. So Sita was just like, what do you mean? The giant Japanese military, the mighty Japanese military would never give up. And they find out they did. Like they wiped up the whole Navy Armada, the U.S. and everything.
Well, he's got familial ties too. He sees his dad as the patriarch of the family, someone who's strong, someone who's powerful.
They'll never give up. Like we'd never give up.
So he can't conceptualize the idea of his dad being on the losing side of something.
Yeah,
but. What I think, again, it's a movie that just proves how gray the world is.
Yeah.
Because while I do overall probably defend America's tactics in World War II, even as heart-wrenching as it is, I think what this movie and the whole bombings of Kobe prove is that while war is fought by those with power, those who face the actual effects of war, those who are hurt most by war, are the people that had no power, that had no say in anything.
Yeah.
The innocent.
Yeah, and that's what kind of Takahata was trying to do in this film. He says, in his words, quote, "It is not all an anti-war anime and contains absolutely no such message." That's what he says. Yes. It says this movie's not anti-war. It says he means to convey an image of a brother and sister living a failed life due to the isolation from society, and evokes sympathy particularly in the people in their teens and 20s. And it's successful because all society just gives up on him because, unfortunately, like society is crumbling in front of him. Mm-hmm. His aunt's a bitch. I understand that. She was awful to them because he was just like, "Oh, you're not doing anything. You're not doing any work." And this is like all excuses used for the homeless for the past like 80 years have been used for that. "Oh, you're not doing anything. You're not doing any work. I don't care about you." Mm-hmm. And it's like it's just your own family. Like even though you're not related by blood, it's just because I think it was his father's
Yeah,
side.
yeah, it was a distant aunt.
It was a distant aunt,
Yeah.
but it's like everything's falling apart, and like then I kind of sympathize because I'm like, yeah, there's not a lot of food left. There's no food left for anybody. I mean, like even at the very end, he's like, the farmer's like, I can't give you any more food. There's no more food to sell.
Yeah.
Because I need to eat too. And
Yeah, I
it's like,
forgot about that scene. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's again. I'm glad you read that quote because that's kind of the sense I got. It's I went in the movie thinking that it would just blatantly be an anti-war movie.
yeah,
And I did appreciate actually. I really, really was pleasantly surprised by the fact that they neither showed the atomic bombs nor did they like show the direct
that's true. Yes,
impact of it.
Yeah,
I like that you're in the point of view of these characters who are detached from society.
mm-hmm.
And I do wonder if they'd stayed in society, might their fates have been a little different? Like, yeah, you put up with the abuse from the aunt,
yeah.
and I know food was short.
That could have been just Japanese society in itself. It'd be like, okay, this, like maybe we are a nuisance, and maybe they just like, okay, we're going on our own now. So
And it's possible.
yeah,
But like, what I found interesting was the lack of equity all around. Like, there are just subtle hints about it. Like after the war's over, we find out that the shelter they've been living in is like not the backyard, but like it's right adjacent to like this mansion.
This mansion, I
This
forgot about that.
beautiful house,
Yes.
and like this rich family who presumably was leaving because of the bombings comes back, and they're like, "Oh, it's so good to be back in our house," and it's this giant house, and juxtaposed with the remains of
the bomb
Sito
shelter.
and exactly, with the remains of their camp.
Yeah,
The tattered umbrella, the
swing,
the swing that's broken.
yeah,
The pots and
the pots and
pans.
pans
Yeah,
they used to cook.
it's a really just jarring juxtaposition. And again, I'm not like blaming Sito at all, but I do wonder if they had stayed, put up with their aunt's nonsense a little bit, just kind of blocked it out, and done whatever.
I think that also goes with the pride thing. That goes with the pride thing, though, because it's like I am the son of a mighty Navy man. Like I do not need my aunt. I can take care of ourselves, and we got the money. So let's go out onto our own. And
that's true, and it is worth noting that Sito does display what I would say are traditionally feminine qualities. He's cooking, gathering.
Because he has to do everything now.
Well, right, and plus I wonder if it's also because his dad, being a military man, was off a lot. I was wondering if that was maybe the implication or whatever, but either way, that is really the overarching... This really is just a story about a pair of siblings who lose everything in the war. They're just unlucky. Yeah. That's really what it is. It comes down to luck. They are unlucky that their mom dies, that their dad dies out at sea. They have nothing but one another. They don't know the world and how to navigate within it.
Yeah. Plus, one's a 5-year-old. She can't really do anything.
Exactly.
So, like, 13-year-old has to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. And he takes up the role of both of her parents.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where this movie gets you, man. When he's chasing her on the beach, or when he's feeding her, and it's just.
It's sad.
I think that it brings up another theme of the movie, and that is that the familial unit can be as large or small as is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
You can't choose your family, but you can cut out ones who are toxic or whatever. Yeah. And I guess that's the vibe I got from the aunt. I don't know. This is a movie that'll definitely stick with me for a while.
Same. Yeah. I was actually waiting a lot for the breaking point because I'm just like, his pride just wouldn't let him like break down at all. It wouldn't like just let him realize like what's going on. It's just like, no, I can take care of this. I got this. And then like when he goes to the doctors for his sister, and he's like, oh, like the doctor's like, oh, it's fine. She doesn't need medicine. She just needs food. And then he finally just snaps and goes like, what food? There's no more food left because the war's going on and there's rations every day. Yeah, and so that finally causes him to break down, and it's like he's like, screw my pride. I need to do whatever I need to do to keep my sister and me alive. Mm-hmm. So he steals, he does everything he can just to keep on going. And
that's the point where I realized how dumb I was, because I'm like, doctor, prescribe her some food. Like, give her some fucking food. But yeah, it's like, we've never... this movie does make, at least me as an American, take a lot of stock in the fact that I grew up... we've never seen war on our soil. And God forbid, I hope that we never have to see war on our soil.
Back in the 40s and when World War I and II were going, there were rations.
Sure,
but, like... I don't know how badly the rations needed to get, but people did starve. I don't know that, but my guess probably not that high. But we never really felt like the devastation of war like that before. I mean, the
No.
closest we got was December 11th attacks and Pearl Harbor, and that's it. And those are the two worst history things in American history.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we never really dealt with war. The draft ended. We never really had to be worried about that. So yeah, so
No,
it takes
I mean-
for granted like you really take for granted like what you do have as an American, your rights, your freedoms, and that you're able to eat whatever you want. You don't have to. Like, some people can eat whatever they want. Some people don't have to worry about food. But, of course, a lot of people now, and still, even back then, had to worry about food and everything like that.
Food insecurity is definitely an issue here.
Yeah.
It's definitely,
Definitely.
The truth. It is interesting, too, realizing that a large reason why America became the superpower that it is because World Wars I and II were fought overseas.
Yeah.
Decimating Europe. Decimating
Japan. Yeah.
I mean,
and
right.
in China,
so
yeah.
Yeah, so it gave us a chance to, America anyway, a chance to
Produce, help rebuild.
produce, help. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, no, this movie will make you thankful for what you got, for sure.
Definitely.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one to talk
It's
about,
tough.
man.
I was watching this whole movie, and I would think of it as a ballet. I feel like there was multiple parts, right? Like every time there's like the music itself, and you would see beautiful backgrounds and everything, and you see just total destruction. I would think of it as a ballet in acts, like the Swan Prince. You see this beauty and this elegance, and then all of a sudden it turns to this blackness and darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think like that because you see the beautiful portraits and the backgrounds they use. Definitely, kind of made me think of it. Plus the music was just fantastic. It just puts you in the moment right there. Of this, like, is this sometimes this sweet, beautiful, like violins and orchestra, and then all of a sudden it just goes straight to black and panic and fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. The quote I was looking for the Fireflies, why it's called Grave with the Fireflies, Grave with the Fireflies, is "Burn so bright, die so young." That was the thing I was thinking of. Yeah, that's why
Burn
it's called
so
that.
bright, die so young.
Die so young. Yeah,
That
it's like a
makes
firefly
sense.
itself. Yes. Yeah, which of course the Fireflies is definitely used for that. Like the spirits of lost children, the fireflies that burn down the towns, the fires that burn down the town, the Japanese soldiers themselves, the machinery of war, and the regeneration of life through nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they could represent multitudes of things, the Fireflies, but that's what I think. What the Fireflies represent in this movie.
Oh yeah, and absolutely, Setsuko is a firefly in that regard.
Yeah, and so is the sister.
She's got so much.
Yeah.
She's got so much
Oh,
personality and joviality and just childlike
Yeah.
wonder, and her life is tragically cut down. Both of them. Their
Yeah,
lives
I
are
will
cut
say
down.
though, the one I did watch the dub of this movie. Did not really like the voice actress of the sister.
Oh really?
Not really great. It sounds definitely like adult playing kid. They didn't get a kid. They actually got like an adult. It's just like a squeaky voice. I'm just
Oh
like,
jeez.
okay, this is kind of like annoying a little bit.
Did
Doesn't
you
mean though
watch-
it's still not sad and she did not act performingly well. She did. If I did watch the 1988 version, I believe Queen Orr played her. She did an amazing job. If I watched the 2012 version, Emily Neves did a great job too. But it was just kind of grating sometimes. It was just like.
Oh jeez.
But I think maybe that was the point because she's just a kid.
Yeah,
that asked
maybe.
like I want mom, I want dad. It's just like
It's possible.
that's possible. Yeah.
I mean, I personally wouldn't choose to direct it that way, but because I really liked both characters. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously it's hard not to root for them.
Yeah, definitely, because you want
But-
them to survive. You
Right.
want not war to ruin people's lives. You want it to, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right, and again, it's something that we took for granted. I didn't have to grow up. I mean, the one of the heartbreaking things is Setsuko's at that really, really young age where she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't understand what's going
yeah.
on.
She doesn't know war.
She doesn't fully grieve for her mother. Like, obviously, she's devastated her mom's not coming home. But even by the time she admits that she knows to her brother, that their mother's dead, she's already processed it in her own way.
Yeah.
He's the one that breaks down and cries then.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's like, to him, the fact that she's already processed this, and it's almost like this will be her norm, growing up without a mother.
Yeah,
In a war-torn Japan, that will be her reality.
Mhm.
And that is devastating.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
simply devastating.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other thoughts? Not much. I mean, like I have very little notes. I have one thing about the aunt because I was just like, I think we all knew like something was going to happen because the aunt was just like you can tell like she was very distant. She was not emotional at all.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, we gotta sell your mother's goods and stuff like that. And then like increasingly, you can tell like, she's just like making sure like she can get the most food off them, and then hopefully they can leave. So that's what happened. So
yeah, I think it just highlights gray areas that people have, especially as you grow up. You know, you look at them and their childlike innocence.
yeah,
Like, you know, when Sito steals food,
mm-hmm.
when he steals food from other people, we know why. We get it and we forgive it.
yeah,
You know, if she at that age were to do that, we'd want to see it punished, right? So I think the aunt's behavior kind of shows that, just highlights that, you know, I don't think that she really wants them to suffer, but she's looking out for herself.
that's true. I know, family.
And frankly, in a wartime, who's to say we wouldn't behave that way?
That's true.
I'd like to think I wouldn't to a pair of children.
Yeah, but during wartime, I mean, you and me, like I may ask you to share some food, but you'll be like, no, I can't
Hell
do it.
no.
Yeah, so yeah.
I'll watch you eat styrofoam before
Yeah.
I share anything with you.
Yeah, I expect that. Definitely. Yeah, so,
But on a contrast to the aunt,
yeah,
I want to highlight the lovely police officer
true.
who, you know, Cito gets caught raiding people's crops and stealing from their tables while, you know, while the air raid sirens are going off. And one of the farmers catches him, beats the shit out of him,
Yeah.
and turns him into the police. And the police officer knows what's going on, and he says, "Sir, I'll take care of this." And he lets Cito go.
Yeah.
And I think that that's another important thing,
Yeah.
especially in, you know...
That shows the humanity in the world, that maybe,
Right.
like, not everybody's not bad, you're not going to just be abandoned. But,
We need laws in society,
Yeah.
by all means. But laws and punishments should also be adjudicated on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a brief little reminder that he's
Yeah,
only in there for
this-
that one scene.
Yeah, just, like, a little bit of hope, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy probably couldn't solve all the problems.
Yeah.
We don't know his situation and his food, like, but at least he helped him then. So that shows, like, some humanity is left
Right.
in
He's not
society.
going to throw some poor starving kid in jail.
Yeah.
I did like, too, in the bank when he finds out the war has ended.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because I thought, like, you know, and it's just funny to put yourself in the shoes of somebody like 2 nuclear bombs, 2 ultimate weapons, something the world had never seen at that point, went off in your homeland and you had no idea. And
Yeah.
then it dawned on me, he's literally living under a rock.
Yeah. Yes.
So that was one little darkly comedic
Yeah,
observation.
he hasn't heard any news or anything. The last time he heard news was when he saw his mother die, and he hasn't got any news since. So he was just like, yeah, because he kept on sending letters to the Navy, be like, "We're alive," tell our father we're alive, and stuff like that. But they never responded because they got destroyed by the American military. So it's in the Allied forces.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
It's a heavy movie,
It's a
folks.
heavy movie, folks.
Heavy movie.
Jesus, yeah.
It's tough to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on the themes, the characters, really.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the fruit candy tin?
Oh, that was kind of. It was like the little joy they have in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you have one little joy, and that could be a beer or cigarettes or something else. And for them, it was always the food truck because they know they always had it.
The candy tin,
The fruit candy tin, yeah.
And it was like a learning lesson to her to how to ration, especially.
Yeah,
you
true,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like how to have patience. Like, I don't know, I grew up a fat kid, so like Halloween time, right? Halloween, I would just pack in the candy.
Yeah.
I cannot have Halloween candy near me or in my house or anything like that, or I will just eat it.
Yeah.
I'll just snack on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, to think about if you're in that position and she's got to ration these individual candies over the course of months,
Yeah.
you know, it just puts again in perspective the different type of lifestyle we live from someone in this situation. And I think it's a very simple metaphor for that, what, you know, like you said,
little joys in life. You know,
little joys in life.
That's why he always kept it to remind her, to remind him of her. You know, because he always loved the food candies.
Well, again, it's a very simple metaphor, but very effective.
Yeah. Also, what they always share. You know, just like they always had the fruit candies together, and that's why they put him in the. I forgot he put her ashes, a little bit of her ashes, in the fruit can.
Which is what makes it all the worse when the janitor picks it up, says, "What is this?"
What is this? And
dumps
like,
it out.
Yeah, and like takes a little bit of it. It's just like, oh, what is this? Oh, well, yeah.
But again, how would he know?
How do you know?
And again, it's shows how such little mundane things can have such significant value to individuals.
Yeah.
But to the outer world, it means nothing.
True.
But I did love when they become apparitions, souls. We'll just call them souls, I guess. Or,
Yeah.
You know, ghosts, if you want to get Ghost in the Shelley about it.
Yeah.
But when their souls meet and Sita picks up the can and looks at it, and it's all weathered and like all the the paint on it's been stripped off basically from all the just wear and tear.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's holding it as a soul, it rejuvenates itself and it's a brand new candy tin.
Yeah.
And that was sweet. That was a very sweet moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a end of a MASH episode. There's this one episode where Klinger's sick, and a lot of new patients come in, and unfortunately one passed away. But we see his ghost come, and only Klinger can see him. And the whole episode, it's just from the ghost's point of view. So every time they're like, "Am I dead? Like, am I dead?" And he's just questioning life. At the very end, you see him walk, and you see another dead soldier, and he's like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "I don't know." And they just walk on to the afterlife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's another show I've always wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were going to teach a greedy old man the meaning of Christmas?
Maybe. Who knows?
Kind of nice.
Who knows? Yeah. That'd be nice.
Sorry, it's hard to inject any kind of fun.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there's no like, we can't really have jokes, or like, there's no like funny side character or something like that.
No good way to segue. Yeah, there's no comic relief. There's no honestly, it's appropriate. There's no comic relief in this movie that I can recall. Anyway.
Yeah, like every moment you kind of feel sad. Like when the kids come in to the campsite and kind of mess with it, even though like they don't know. So it's just like
mean-spirited bullying.
Yeah,
what it was.
Yeah, but they don't know. They're just because they're also kids.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're like, oh man, they can't be like, oh man, this is like the most food that I've seen in a while, and it's just like,
yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I was not mad at the children, but it was just like, oh, I don't want to see that what little these two have get rummaged or destroyed by these roving kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no real moments of comic relief, just very, very brief moments of character relief, like with the police officer, for instance, where you're just like, okay,
and moments of them having fun,
right?
And, like,
the beach,
enjoying life
when they're running around.
The Fireflies and in the bomb shelter and stuff like that.
It's a beautiful, beautiful image.
Yeah.
This has to be during the hand drawn era, right? Like
this is all hand drawn, no animation. Like gorgeous. We said in Ghost in the Shell, that was the first use of computer animation.
Okay.
In anime, right. Yes.
No, this is gorgeously animated.
Yeah, definitely. And Isao Takahata did a great job. I want to check out more of his work because I don't know if he kept on working on Ghibli or not. I don't know his other films, but I heard they're probably good too. I can probably look them up right now while we're talking, real quick. But he did an amazing job on this film. He really took like the essence of the characters and focused more on that instead of war, which was amazing. And he's definitely right what he said. He's definitely right. Yeah. So let's see. He did. He worked on The Tale of the Princess, Pompoko. I believe he worked for Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. Let's see if he directed Only Yesterday. Let's see. He directed The Great Adventure of Horse, The Prince of the Sun. Oh, sorry. No, he did do that. He directed various television shows: Heidi the Green Girl of the Alps, 33,000 Leagues in the Search of Mother, Anne of Green Gables, the very famous Japanese anime adaptation of Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, I was not familiar with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, he directed Only Yesterday, Pompoko, as I said, My Neighbor the Yamadas, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Very famous animated movies. So he's done a lot of work besides also Miyazaki, because he's also was a collaborating colleague of him doing that. So yeah, but he did an amazing job. I believe this is his directorial debut. He did an amazing job. Just the characters, just the backgrounds, the art direction itself. It's just mind blown what he did, and like the emotional impact is just so heartbreaking and emotional. It's insane that he did it. Yeah. So I guess that's like all we can talk about the movie. Really, I mean, we didn't really go through it beat by beat, but you don't really need to go through it beat by beat to understand this film. I mean, we kind of just did. It's a tough movie to watch, folks, but it's
a significant movie.
It's a significant movie.
So
to watch. Yeah. So watch it. Yeah, definitely. I guess we'll get into our final thoughts.
Sure.
I thought this movie was beautiful. It made me cry almost made me cry multiple times. I would say the one complaint was definitely the voice acting. Definitely of the little girl took it away a little bit, but besides that, she did a really good job portraying a 5-year-old girl because that's how they would act and sound like. But yeah, this movie is a tough watch, man. It can make you feel things and all kinds of emotions. I can't really speak right now because I can't really describe it, but I don't know. I guess I would give this. Is this a perfect film? I don't know. I want to put it up there. Because I did find one flaw with it mostly, but I don't know. I guess to give it a grade of any kind,
You don't even have to if you don't want.
I don't know.
Mull it over.
I'm just thinking like 5 stars out of 6. That's what that's my initial thoughts thinking that. That's it.
Sure. Sure. I mean, I share much of that sentiment with you. I think it's a beautiful movie. I think it's a movie that everyone could benefit from watching, just to experience it. It is it's not a feel-good movie by any means, but I think it's a vital watch. And, it does end on a happy note. It's worth noting that it does end on a positive note with the afterlife stuff. And, ratings, again, we say it all the time. Ratings are goofy, they're fun, they're arbitrary. If I had to rate this, I probably would agree with Ebert with the 4 out of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a 6 out of 6.
Right.
Whether it will top my list here, because I kind of go off of like what I enjoyed watching the most.
Yeah.
Who's to say? But I can't really find a flaw. I only watched the subtitle version.
So you watched
the Japanese version.
Okay.
So I thought the voice acting was all good on that end. I couldn't really find any flaws. If you want to say no comic relief is a flaw, you're more than welcome to. I don't think every movie needs to have that. Because while this is a very melancholy movie, it's not without its joys.
Sure.
It's not without its moments of the brother and sister bonding. It's not without the ending being an more uplifting than the rest of the movie would have you believe. It's a movie that will show you a mother's corpse with maggots all over it. And it's
you see
also,
dead bodies everywhere.
You do.
See destruction.
You do. It will also show you these two sleeping in a tent surrounded by fireflies and, running on the beach playing together amidst chaos in their world. Like, this is their reality. And they're finding happiness, with nothing. They have nothing.
True.
It's a very... I don't know if profound is the correct word, but this is a vital movie.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very important piece of cinema.
Yeah.
Not just animation, but cinema. Yeah. I can't find a flaw in it. I'll give it 6 out of 6.
Okay.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
And
folks.
a fun fact, I couldn't find this on any streaming services. I was losing my mind, and then I thought, oh my gosh, I work right above a public library. And sure enough, the public library not only had this, but they had a whole dedicated anime section.
Cool.
So remember, folks, if you don't always have to pay for these fancy schmancy streaming services when you've got that public library. They're there. Your taxes are paying for them, so put them to work.
Go to the library.
Libraries are great.
They are great.
They really are.
I love
great.
libraries.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yep.
Okay, so that was our review of The Grave of the Fireflies. I hope you enjoyed it. But let's find out what other people thought. Well, typically, Roger Ebert. We should call this as Ebert time.
Ebert time.
Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Ebert time. Even if it's not Ebert, we should just call it Ebert time.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, this is Ebert time, folks. Okay, so Ebert, like you said, gave this 4 stars. He says, quote, The Grave of the Fireflies is an emotional experience so powerful that it forces a rethinking of animation. Since its earliest days, most animated films have been cartoons for children and families. Recent animated features such as The Lion King, Princess Mononoke, and The Iron Giant, which is also a fantastic movie.
Great movie.
I have not seen that movie in so long.
Same here, but that is a very criminally underrated movie.
Have touched on more serious themes, and the Toy Story movies and classics like Bambi have had moments that showed some audience to tears. But these films exist within safe confines. They inspire tears, but not grief.
That's so well said.
Yeah.
So well said.
So well said. Grave of the Fireflies is a powerful, dramatic film that happens to be animated. I know what the critic, Ernest Wester, means when he compares it to similar to this and says it is the most profoundly human animated film I've ever seen.
Okay.
Which I agree with. I agree with everything he said.
It is profound in that way. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's such a good way of putting it. It is a grief film, not a tear-jerking film per se. It is a film about grief.
Yeah.
That's so well said. Very nice. Well, that's why he was who he was.
Definitely. He also goes on, quote, one of the film's greatest gifts is its patience. Shots are held so we think about them. Characters are glimpsed in private moments, atmosphere, and nature are given time to establish themselves.
This had to be so novel in 1988 for a Western audience to see.
Yeah, if
right?
Wes Snyder saw it at all, I mean, he could have...
But Roger Ebert, though, if he saw this in 88, this had to be so different than any... Even in 98 or whenever it came to the States. This had to be so different than any...
That's
because
true,
he did mention Toy Story.
Toy Story, Princess Mononoke was coming out in 97, The Iron Giant came out in 99.
Yeah, you're right. This is
so this is probably like 2000, 2001, something like that.
You're right.
But yeah, it really, like... I don't know like how Ebert rates like other animated films exactly. Like how does he hold animation in high regard in some places, unlike other critics would? You know,
I'm sure he does. He was a fair guy. He gets a lot of grief, but like I think he was fair. You know, people always say he hated horror movies. Not true. He liked The Exorcist. He liked Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, he just didn't like bad horror movies.
Yeah. And David Lynch. He hated David Lynch.
He hated David Lynch.
Yes.
Although I'm kind of somewhat in agreement with him on that.
I agree with some things he says, but yeah, I enjoy the movies more than David
I'm not here to bash David
We're
Lynch.
not here to bash David Lynch or Roger Ebert himself. But
we could bash Billy Wilder some more.
Yeah, we could do that, yeah.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time we watch this film again. He also goes on to say, quote, great director Yasuji Ozu, which I have no idea who he is, but probably is a great director, and maybe we'll go on to watch his films one day, uses pillow shots, a detail from nature, say to separate two scenes. Grave of the Fireflies uses them too. Visuals create a kind of poetry. There are moments of quick action, and when the bombs rain down and people are terrified people fill the streets, but this film doesn't exploit action. It mediates on its consequences.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a great strength of it.
Yeah. He also says like why animation was a good choice to make this film instead of making like a live action, which they did twice in 2005 and in 2008. I believe. Yes. One maybe a Japanese, one a Korean version. I am not sure. I forget. But yeah. But he says he goes on to say, I think animation was the right choice. Live action would have been a burden by the weight of special effects, violence, and action. Animation allows Takahata to concentrate on the essence of the story, and the lack of visual realism in his animated characters allows our imaginations to play more. Freed from the literal fact of real actors, we can more easily merge the characters with our own associations.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continues to go on. It says that the creations and the backgrounds are drawn in the style owning themselves to the 18th century Japanese artist Hiroshige and the modern disciple Hoji, the creator of Tintin, to the Adventures of Tintin. Yeah, him. Yeah. There's great beauty in them, not cartoon beauty, but the evocative landscape,
yeah.
But the evocative landscape drawing, but put through the filter of animated style. The characters are typical of modern Japan, with their enormous eyes, childlike bodies, and features of great plasticity. Mouths are tiny when they're closed and enormous when they're opened. This film proves, if it needs proving, that animation produces emotional effects, not by reproducing reality, by heightening and simplifying it, so that many of the sequences are about ideas, not experiences. And that's why people should take animation seriously. I'm tired of animations for kid stuff. I'm tired of people remaking cartoons for adults or something like that. Just watch anime. Like, you're gonna watch Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is very adult. It's very mature. It's also amazing looking. It also has humor and heart. It has characters that are also childish and wonder and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's for everyone.
And I think Toonami helped spread the appeal to the West.
Definitely. And he also goes on, I think the very last line is, yes, it's a cartoon and the kids have eyes like saucers, but it belongs on my list of the greatest war films ever made.
Sure.
End quotes. Yeah. So I agree with everything Roger Ebert said. Definitely.
It's a great review by him.
Yeah, definitely a great review. Definitely. Yeah, that was really powerful. Let's go into production. Of course, it's based off a book called The Grave of the Fireflies by Akiyuki Nosaka. Nosaka argued it was impossible to create the barren, scorched earth that is to be backdrop of the story if it was filmed in live action. So when they did pitch animation, he said, yeah, that could work. Also, he was against children actually playing these roles because they wouldn't be able to comprehend the actual what was going on.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's definitely fair.
Yeah. So Takahata says that wartime stories, whether it be live action or not, tends to be moving and tear-jerking, and that young people develop an inferiority complex, where they perceive people in wartime eras as being more noble and more able than they are, and therefore the audience believes that the story has nothing to do with them. And he wanted to dispel that mindset, which he did, because like these people, I mean, I wouldn't say noble, but they're not heroes. Like
No.
they're not heroes. They're just people. There's regular people trying to survive in the world, which he captured perfectly. Let's see, some background. He considered using non-traditional animation styles, but unfortunately, with the planned release date of the movie and everything, and the staff assembled, that was impossible. Because, once again, they were both working on My Neighbor Totoro and this at the same time. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to do that. He also said it was difficult animating the scenery, because he said that because I guess in Japan, they don't allow people to depict Japan in a realistic manner, which I've never heard of, so that could just be this is up from Wikipedia, so that could be just a random quote. Maybe somebody heard it once or something like that. Or maybe it was just made up. So who knows? But I never really heard that. So yeah, that's mostly it. There's some fun facts. Isoi Takahata was the only living animator involved in the project who actually went through the bombings. In South Korea, the release of the movie was postponed indefinitely because of the concern the movie somewhat justified Japan's role in World War II. Let's see. This film was initially distributed with My Neighbor Totoro, so you see My Neighbor Totoro and this film at the same time, because it was the only way that Miyazaki would have been able to make Totoro. The reason being the original film pitch was the film was rejected, so they pitched a double feature of Grave of the Fireflies and a project that eventually backed financially by the original writer of the book, Grave of the Fireflies. It was often overlooked as a film because when Totoro was first screened, people were left happy and did not wish to see Grave of the Firefly after. So it's like a Barbenheimer situation, you know. You see the happiness first, and then you see utter destruction later.
Yeah, geez, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's the Bobby Hyman of his time.
Yeah, it was.
It's a Grave of the Totoro, as they call it.
Grave of the Totoro.
Grave of the Totoro,
amazing.
yes, the Grave of the Totoro.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's mostly all about the movie. Let's go back to 1988 in film itself and see what was going on. Okay, so awards for this film, I should say before. Not nominated for any Oscars at all.
What's the style of the time?
It was 1988. There was no foreign films being nominated, besides maybe for short films or for... I don't think the best foreign feature film was even a nomination back then. But I won the Blue Ribbon Award, the special award it's called, and the Chicago International Children's Film Festival Animation Jury Award, and Rights of the Child Award. So that was in 1994. Oscars that year, the winner was Rain Man. Then The Accidental Tourist, then Dangerous Liaison, then Mississippi Burning, and then, once again, Working Girl, the phenomenon of 1987.
Wow.
We gotta watch that movie.
We do.
This movie was huge, guys, okay?
Yeah.
This film was nominated for, I'm missing Harrison Ford was nominated, Millie Griffith was nominated, Joan Cusack was nominated, Sigourney Weaver was nominated.
Jeez.
It was insane
What a
how huge
cast,
Working Girl was. Yeah.
And you never hear it talked about these days.
If you were to eliminate one of these movies so that this movie could be nominated, what would it be? Would it be Working Girl or
Mississippi Burning?
Really?
It's a good movie, but I don't think it's aged well.
Hmm.
I watched it in high school, and then I watched it a few years ago. It might have been on Prime or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, okay, this is good, but it's a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes when you tell those stories, with very obvious morals, anyone with a regular functioning brain will tell you that racism's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And the KKK is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not really... I just don't... I think it's aged to where it's almost too heavy-handed with that kind of...
Understandable.
I think as a society, luckily, we have evolved to where that is the more mainstream, opinion is, racism's fucking dumb and the KKK is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So I think that's really...
Yeah, I probably should have not said Working. Well, I don't agree. Working Girl. I think Working Girl probably would have been nominated.
I can't speak to it because I've never seen Working Girl.
Maybe The Accidental Tourist, because I think that's the one film people forgot. I mean, I know that
one.
stars what's her name? Gina Edwards. Gina
Davis.
Gina Davis, yes,
and
William
H. Macy.
No.
Hurt.
Yes, William Hurt.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fair. I haven't seen that one, so
Yeah.
maybe that could be deleted.
That could be deleted, yeah, because once again, like Rain Man, still very famous. Dangerous Liaison, still out there famous. We watched it. It was really good. Mississippi Burning, yeah. Work and Go, still out. Like people still love Work and Go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was popular. So there was no Best Animated Feature Films, but there was a Best Animated Short Film. And the winner of that year was Tin Toy, directed by Pixar.
Unfortunately, this movie came in 60 minutes too long.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, yeah. So yeah, that was like one of the first Pixar films, Tin Toy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film.
Huh.
I think either it was the first film they did, or like it was presentation of what they could do with this technology.
Did it feature the lamp or something?
No.
Okay.
It was actually about a tin toy itself. It was directed by what's his Lasseter, like John I think his name.
Oh,
yeah.
John Lasseter.
John Lasseter. Yeah, he directed all these movies and started Pixar with not Pete
George
Docter.
Lucas, wasn't it? Didn't
Was
George
it?
Lucas have a hand in Pixar's creation?
I don't really know the history of Pixar that well, so yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. Also nominated that year was The Cat Came Back and a Technological Threat. Movies I have not seen, but hopefully really good.
All right.
Top 10 films of 1988. We've done this before, but it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So an animated film was number 1. It's a half animated film. Coming to America, number 2. Good Morning Vietnam, number 3. Big, number 4. Crocodile Dundee 2, number 5. 3 Men and a Baby, number 6. 7 was Die Hard. 8 was Moonstruck. 9 was Cocktail. Nobody remembers Cocktail.
Tom Cruise bartending
Nobody remembers
picture?
Cocktail. It's really bad. It's not a good movie, I heard.
I'm sure it is.
Maybe we'll watch bad Tom Cruise movies one day, but yeah.
Could be fun.
Not bad. And number 10 was Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Damn it, TJ.
Beetlejuice. I said it too many times.
Damn it. I'm just gonna come. Hope it's the musical version. So I want to hear him sing.
I hope it's Michael Keaton.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that was 1988 in film. So
Terrific.
I think that's mostly it. Anything else, TJ, you have?
No, we decided that with the tenor of this episode, there was really no game that we could create to kind of like. Maybe it would have been good comic relief, but in the style of the movie, we're just gonna leave you with the message: this is an excellent film. It is a once in a generation film, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say if you find yourself at the local public library and you want to see what it's all about, by all means, check it out.
Okay.
But we can come loaded with 2 games for next time. We'll
Definitely.
each come up with something.
Yeah. Hopefully we remember. We'll do it.
Yes.
But once again, you guys can reach out to us, give us game suggestions, and we'll love that too.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
Make your mark on the show.
Yeah,
Tell
definitely.
us
Do
what
our
to do.
jobs for us, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us what to think.
Yeah. Okay, so this wheel's about to tell us what to think because we're going to choose our next film for next week or in 2 weeks. Whenever the fuck we want to release this. Okay, so let's spin the wheel, make the deal now, TJ. Here we go. And it is going to be... Farewell, My Lovely. We are going into the noir film section, so get ready for more sadness.
Robert Mitchum, baby.
Woo, woo! Robert Mitchum! So yeah, I just want to say before we leave, if you do like our show, please follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to follow this show. We are on SoundCloud, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube now. Hopefully more soon, and hopefully I don't have to pay $20 to get on iTunes. That sucks. Yeah, we're not doing that. We have a Twitter page, which I do not update a lot. But if you want new episodes, follow us on that. Also on Facebook, on It's Soon to Us. That's our Facebook page, because Facebook doesn't like damn it. I don't know why. It's weird. Yeah, but please do that. Please invite us to parties soon. We need to be invited, okay? We're very desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, that would be it for us. I am Mo, and I'm still very serious.
And I'm TJ, and I'm still serious, too. I have no idea what to even say.
Okay, let's end it there, then. Okay, let's have Robert Mitchum play us out. See ya, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.